Hello, I want to see how this video works. I have a new camera system. So far, I'm having a little bit of trouble with it. However, you can see the trees on the table. This camera's got to be a bit farther away in order to capture that. This is my Jaboticaba. Let me see if I can add some lighting. Try this lighting first. No, that's better. So this is my Jaboticaba. It has really flushed out from the early spring. And I'm going to bring the camera closer so that you can see where this just happened in the last day. The bark layers, this has a peeling bark type of a trunk, and it just peeled completely down, and I want to try and get a better look at that with this camera. Let's see if I can manage it. Nope. Let me see if I can get in there. Speaker fell. Let's see. This is a great big peel of bark from this whole section of trunk going up here. And you can see on this side again, there's a whole piece of bark here peeling off. This is one of the coolest things I like about this tree and why I keep it, is because I really like the fact that it peels off this bark all on its own, and then layers of it will reform again. When I start to do some pruning, you'll be able to see how even further up, not sure if I can get in there. Here in the crotch of the tree is more peeling bark. It goes up this way. It just keeps coming off in these really cool pieces of bark. Like this one right here. Let's see if you can see how shades of red and tan and lighter tan, all in peeling layers along this bark. And it'll do that all the way up here into this part of the trunk too. Like the upper branches. And sometimes it kind of comes off in these little cuffs around the branches. So I like to just let it build up and then come off on its own, because I usually get these really cool shapes and designs. And this long peeling one. There's some crazy pieces of bark right there. Nope, we're going to set those aside because I like to keep them for a while. So you can see how dense this has gotten. Some bug just flew up out of it. There's some powdery mildew on there, but that's probably going to get trimmed off anyways. So that's what I'm working with. I could do a decent trim on this tree. And that is my plan. So we'll be right back, ready to set up trimming this Jaboticaba. Okay, so we are going to start at the bottom, I guess, and just try to cut branches in order to create new branching, like to get more, reducing or bringing, trimming back to get it to go to 2 branches and then to 4 branches, 6 branches, to get finer branching down the line. This tree was kind of suffering last winter, so I kind of let it grow crazy. I was hoping that this much extra energy would help it put a lot of stored energy in the bank, so to say. And how I plan to design this tree, no idea, because I'm not super keen on the interior trunk situation. I would want to say that something like this is going to be the front. I have awkward, thick branches at the base of this trunk in my mind, but it is what it is. So on this side, I have a branch here that I really like. I want this pad area to get a lot of sunlight, and I don't want to hinder its growth. So this will be as far out, I suppose, as the tree should be. Like this is the widest, farthest out from the trunk that it should be. So I'm going to take a look and see what I can cut back, hopefully to some healthy growth, because some of this is already turned like yellow. I should have probably trimmed this tree sooner. Let's start here. It looks like it might be needing something because the edges of it look pale. I'm not sure if it might be too late in the year to fertilize it, but it might need some kind of an additive of something to give it a little boost. So there's a branch here in the middle. I'm going to take it out of there. This is like a much wider spread here now, but this alternates off this side. I'm losing these leaves here anyway. They're all yellowed. Right under here, this one. These are 2 that are like the base of the fork, so I'm going to take those off. So this branch here forks here and here, but we're a little bit crowded, so I'm going to take off this leaf. Seems like a lot of trees have leaves at the base of what then becomes a fork, and I usually remove those leaves. This one here. This leaf's growing inward. Then come to this next size over. I would maybe take this one. So on this side I have a branch, and then two on the end. One way back here. I'd take this back, take the dominant end shoot off of it. Take off the leaves at the base of the fork. Just creates a lot of clutter right there. I'm going to take this side back that direction a little bit more. This side rises up a little bit, but I think I would take these leaves and possibly that whole side because it shades that one. Try to do this first. Go to this branch here. I'll take these yellow ones off. No need to waste energy on that. You can see that these are all smaller leaves than what I have just right next to it over here. I'm going to leave that for the moment. This one back here, this leaf is too close. These are a little too close. They are growing right at the fork. This big yellow one here is going because it's past its prime. I'm going to take the one off the other side too. We've got this and this. For the moment I'll leave it because this is only the first branch I've trimmed so far. There's nothing way back here attached until we get to this nice big bracket that we just did. So looking at it from this side, it's a little crowded up here. What's happening here? This branch is kind of curling back and under, but it's kind of filling a spot, so I might leave it. This one on this side, though, if I take that off, or I have to take off something from this branch here. Let's see. This has a bit that's growing up and a bit that's growing down. This one kind of comes in sideways. And I'll take the one that's growing up at the moment. Hi, so I apologize for the glitchiness on my video. I'm not sure why that's doing that, but I really need to get this tree done, and I kind of do want to have it recorded, even if it's not a great recording. So I'm going to just proceed to get this tree trimmed, because I still have a pomegranate that I want to do. But I think I might set up my other camera to pull that one off. So I'm working on this branch here. I don't want it to protrude too much further than what this branch is doing, so I'm taking a look at what I have here. This is another branch that looks like it needs a twist or possibly a guy wire to hold this branch down and kind of twist this around. And it's got some interior growth that's crossing. Not going to help me. So we'll get rid of that. Oh shoot, I just cut through that. Well, I forgot which tools I had in my hand. Hopefully I get something better there anyway. This one's got a bunch of yellow leaves. They look a little bit damaged. That one's in crotch. This one's also not great. So I've called into tech support to try and figure out why my camera is making that unfortunate glitchiness. So we're going to leave this branch. This one's growing inside of this other area. It's not helping, I don't think. Well, maybe it could. It would take this dominant branch away, maybe, altogether. But it's growing up. Yeah. Get it out of there. This one's swinging wide and growing up, so I'm going to take it back down to earth a little bit, a little more level. Don't like what this is doing. Take that off. This branch is just coming back this way. I don't think I want it to do that. Taking that whole section off. If I can get there. There. This may still be coming out a little bit farther than I want. I'm gonna take it back and see. Ugh, there's nowhere to really take it back to. Okay, we'll move on up a little higher. So let's see. I've got this whole branch growing inside. So let's take that out because you can't see anything. This one's coming towards you and then it goes off this way, so I'm leaving it for a moment because I'm not really sure how much higher I'm going to let some of these thick trunks come up. This one comes back in. Some more bark. Okay, what's happening is there's a branch from behind this tree that's coming out in front of it. And I might not No, it doesn't really help. This is a weird branch growing inside. Kind of see here, I've got this strange knob that's going to happen until I can somehow reduce this. But knowing what to do with the branches in between is kind of like, ugh. I think I want to do that. Maybe wire that branch out a little bit further. Like that. There's another one coming from here. Don't need it. There is a branch growing to the inside. I might have to use that to take this whole big knob off. I wonder what that would do. Oh, that's a big cut, so I'm going to go around the other side of the tree. You can see how this... Once again, this branch is coming right into the middle, but if I remove it, what's in there is odd looking. If I could get this branch to come back up and in, might save something. It is so hard to know what to do. Well, this whole branch here is growing up from a side branch. And a relatively small branch. First we'll take it here. And we'll take this off. It's got this whole section that's just going to go all the way off to this side. Like this tree, I tell you. It is the ugly stepchild of my group of trees as far as I'm concerned. I cannot figure out a way to prune it that ever just gives it anything. It's still kind of flexible here. I might be able to flex this up. What I'm going to do with it when I get it there, I don't know. But then basically this whole section needs to come off because it's all up in the way. And if that were my front, it crosses it. I thought I was just going to be bringing back to get some definition in branches, and it turned out to be a hack job, like it always is with this tree. This upward motion here, it's got a lot going on up here. There's branches in every direction, upright, sideways, multiples. I don't even know what I'm cutting on this thing anymore. I've lost the plot altogether. I'm trying to make some sense of any of these branches. This one came out. I'm at a loss. There's some of this growth is just so much that I'm just going to get more of the same. More of the same big chunky sections with no freaking taper. And it just seems to go on and on. I don't know where it will end. I still feel like somewhere or another something has to be the top. I just don't have any idea where it is. It's such a mix and match set of what I don't even know. Any advice would be greatly helped. Of course, by the time I see it, it'll probably have already hacked this tree out, so not really sure what I'm going to do with it. This is a leader that's going to be trouble.
This is probably just painful to watch. I'm sorry. I just really do not. It was so thick and full, too full. Now I feel like I don't even. It has absolutely no direction. In spite of all of the leafing out that it had, there's no direction here. Everything crosses everything. Everything does not go in the way that everything says things should go. Like this whole branch I'm grooming right now. Technically, I guess technically it's growing that way. There's still some density in here that I'm not sure. It's like hard to pick what to keep. I'm not going to keep that because that's growing right in the middle of section that's no help to me. I don't know, there are times where I feel like two of these should just come off and be one thing. But I don't know, man. I just don't know. It's anything more I do is really just more hacking, not knowing. But like right here, there's this. But it's already like one thickness the whole way down that branch. And I can't have it keep going out, out, out because that's not the shape I really wanted to have. So I was going to say go in and up again. Okay, so I don't think it looks any better than it did. If anything, it looks worse because now it just looks like you can see the actual structure. I am hard pressed to find any redeeming qualities other than that I like the bark and the fact that it peels off and grows new bark. I just don't know how to make any of this look better other than when I get to carve these back a bit. But the three, it's just this is the only one that's got any kind of potential for taper. Maybe this one, but already this thickens. This is pretty thick. How big would this tree have to be to get all that in proportion? And then this would be kind of odd because it would be stumpy and not very wide. So I guess anybody with any advice on anything I should maybe lop off, feel free to let me know in the comments. This has been a very difficult tree for me. And I'm not happy with what my camera's doing. But I do just kind of want to show you the sad sight that this tree is. So that's what I got over here. Is all the everything I cut off of it. Poor thing. So that's Jaboticaba. I'm depressed. I'm depressed about my camera, and I'm a little depressed about not being able to find a path with this tree. Again, any advice would be appreciated. Thanks for sticking it with me. I know I'm going to have fun trying to edit this. But enjoy your bonsai, and thanks for sticking with me here at Bonsai Druid. Have a good evening. Okay, so it's been a couple of days, and I'm back taking another look at my Jaboticaba after its pruning, and I made a few extra modifications, and I think I like it a lot better now. So this is as it stands. I'm going to move a little closer so I can turn the turntable. Something like this would probably be, let's say, the front. If I go in closer, you can see that I wired a branch that before was just arcing out and away, and I brought it more upright and curved it a little bit, and then up here I tethered it to this other leg of this three branched tree. So it kind of pulled those both in a little tighter and a little more upright, and now I kind of like the way that the branches have set. I still am not 100% sure on the front, but at least I feel like I can develop it now in some kind of a direction, because these three main branches of this central trunk here are so thick, but they were spreading out kind of far, and you're always supposed to trim branches that are growing inwards, but part of what's bringing this tree back into shape are the branches that were growing inwards. So I kind of broke some rules that I had been trying to keep, and I think I ended up with a bit of a better tree, or will have a better tree, at least something to go by. The bark may be soft. I'm hoping I don't need to leave this wire on very long at all, now that I've got like a tether between the two. I also used, because this is a tie-in pot, you can see it's got knobs all the way around the rim. Let's see if I can, there. It's got these knobs, so I took wire and wrapped it around, and just help bring these branches here, a couple of branches here that needed to be twisted, but they're so thin they're not worth wiring because they were kind of tipping up this way. So I just brought them down by adding the wire. This one is actually bringing this one down and this one up a tad, so that these forks of branches are actually laying in the direction that I would prefer. Same over here. I didn't even bother to trim this wire. I find it is also a way to help save wire, because when you coil it around a branch, a lot of times you can't recover that. You have to cut it off. But if I can use a guy or a guidance of some kind and not have to wire it, I can get some of these branches into place when they're still relatively thin. You know, they're really just twiggy. It still might extend a little bit too far out over here. I'm not sure. It might be that these branches just need to come out more. I haven't decided, but that'll be for another pruning in the future. At the moment, I'm not even going to try to trim this one back, so I feel a little better about it than I did when I left. I feel that it now has a better center. And some of the things that I will end up carving out to improve in the future is this knob where a big heavy branch had been cut, this knob up here where a big heavy branch had been cut. That one's not too bad. There's what's the other one? Up here and up here. So with time, I think those things will improve, and with a little Dremel work, I think I can get them to do better. So that's the Jaboticaba. I'm not sure what more will be done to it this year at all. I'm going to try and figure out what's going on with the discolored leaves. They are kind of like reddish in some spots in the centers. And definitely like the veins are still green on a lot of them, but the rest of the leaf is yellowed. So it might be either missing some iron or some other nutrient. I'm going to try and... I don't know if I should be fertilizing it this late, but I might have to maybe put something in with iron if necessary. See if that helps. So thanks a lot. I just wanted to give a better update and leave this video on a better note. I just needed some time away and look at it with fresh eyes. So I like the modifications that I've made. I think they'll just help it be a multi... I don't know what you call these. Branches, trunks, but there will be 3 of them. Every time I look at it to think about taking one off, the other 2 just look awkward. So it's pretty much set for 3. If I want to do something different, I'll do it with a different Jaboticaba altogether. Maybe a cutting from one of the prunings of this tree. Thanks very much for being with me here at Bonsai Druid.